move. And
We'll turn around slowly.
Colin. Who the fuck is Colin? I don't.
My demands are simple.
A dear friend of a friend. Deadly serious I am.
I know you don't.
You sneaky little...
Allman, authorization. And no funny business.
Sam pravi heroj.
Prav, brz.
Brat Statham.
Where am I? Don't mind if I do.
What's the status?
He's
A man who made a mistake.
trying to be a hero.
I'm afraid.
My man. Just like a friend.
I'll work till every last one of them.
Jesus.
He's on the stern.
Barney's memory to let
Let's get to it.
Okay.
Tight down here.
Yeah, these are some emergencies. Let's get this fucking thing open.
That ain't budging. No.
Well, anybody got a little?
It's the only bone I speak. Stick it up his boyfriend's culo.
Hero. This whole fantasy is fantasy.
Takers.
Because it does look cool.
I expect to have.
Prepare for exchange.
Your friend.
On three.
Where did he go?
Yeah. Time to get loud. On the ground, pal. Look, you wasted Barnacle. You're not an expendable anymore. Today.
At least, how do you like it?
Growing up.
Gifting me your knife. All part of the plan.
You're gonna watch out for the Barneys. Kicks us with the best. First things first. Toll road. Big fucking ball. Can you elaborate?
We're shutting this bad boy down. Person is on this fucking.
We probably just entered Russian water.
Coast of Russia. It's going to start wood. It's all about the...
Oh, can you make us something loud?
A bit.
Why you gotta say shit?
She got a thing.
Fuck it.
I got it. Can't play no more. That's the big...
Should have a kill switch.
Ocelot. Our witness that can identify off.
Bye.
12 minutes.
You're like genital warts! Here's the only thing preventing deadly and the expendable.
Clear this boat or we're all gonna get...
They boat.
Gunner, give us cover fire. We're on the way.
There's no one on the bridge.
Let's go. First, I gotta turn this ship around. Nice cap!
You need to move, a toll road's not gonna make it.
That river up to the bridge and fix this.
Take it down!
Looks like I'll be seeing you soon.
Christmas! Called in the cavalry! Face to face!
Yeah.
But you, above and beyond. Very nice. You almost fucking... Come on! Is he... Got wiped out. Hiding so I could prove he's Ocelot. Person. Touch and go. Vehicles and a lot of... Gunner, you got eyes on him?
Radio huevos.
No, we can... 6 months sober. Stay up.
Alongside him. Maybe not.
Improvising.
Now! Christmas!
Don't worry, my friend. I will never leave you.
The detonators, ready?
I'm an ass. Come!
Nice.
Hey guys, today we're diving into a flick where bees aren't just for honey, they're a metaphor for an ancient, shadowy organization, and our hero is one of its most lethal members. We're breaking down the action-packed The Beekeeper, a movie that proves you should absolutely, positively never mess with a beekeeper. Seriously, their sting is way worse than any bee. We kick things off with Adam Clay, a man who defines quiet intensity. He's living a peaceful, off-the-grid life, tending to his bees on a charming property owned by the kind-hearted Eloise Parker. She's like everyone's favorite grandma, offering him pie and good cheer. But this calm is shattered when Eloise, browsing online, falls victim to one of those infuriatingly slick phishing scams. One moment, she's clicking on a pop-up, the next, her entire life savings, every last penny, has vanished. The silence after she realizes what's happened is deafening. If you liked this sneak peek, hit the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel, and let me know you want more. The aftermath is gut-wrenching. Eloise, overwhelmed by the loss and the shame, takes her own life. Adam discovers her body, and the quiet calm of his world completely shatters. The sound of his frantic footsteps echoing through her house, followed by the quiet horror of discovery, really hammers home the tragedy. This isn't just about money. It's about a life, a kind soul, extinguished by callous greed. His usually stoic face hardens, a silent promise forming in his eyes. He's not just angry. He's a force of nature about to be unleashed. He's not just a beekeeper. He's the beekeeper. And trust me, you do not want to be on the wrong side of that particular hive. He finds a note, a suicide note, detailing her despair, and that's the final straw. He picks up her phone, a device that became her undoing, and begins his own brand of digital forensics, tracing the scam back to its source. The rhythmic tapping of his fingers on the keyboard is surprisingly menacing. Adam, now in full beekeeper mode, quickly tracks the scan to a bustling, unassuming call center. He's not subtle about his approach. He walks in, silent but deadly, and the sounds of ringing phones and chirpy scam artists quickly turn into startled shouts and the sickening thud of bodies hitting the floor. He moves with a precise, almost surgical grace, disarming and neutralizing anyone who gets in his way. The whoosh of a pipe as he swings it, the crack of bone, it's all disturbingly efficient. He's less an avenger and more a highly specialized exterminator, cleaning out a nest of parasites. He finds the server room, the brain of their operation, and douses it in gasoline. The smell of petrol hangs heavy in the air, a grim perfume. With a flick of a lighter, the whole place goes up in a fiery inferno. The roar of the flames and the screams of the desperate employees perfectly punctuate his declaration that their particular hive is now officially burnt to the ground. You know, for a guy who loves bees, he's surprisingly good at setting things on fire. Irony much? The morning after the fiery spectacle, the FBI arrives, led by Agent Verona Parker, who, by an agonizing twist of fate, is Eloise's daughter. She surveys the charred remains of the call center, a grim understanding dawning on her. This wasn't some random act of vandalism. This was targeted, precise, and utterly devastating. The smell of smoke and burnt electronics still hangs thick in the air, a pungent reminder of the previous night's destructive force. She's smart, she's tough, and she immediately recognizes the signature of something far more organized than a lone vigilante. The forensic teams meticulously picked through the debris, but Clay left no discernible trace, just a message delivered in flames. Verona's initial priority is to find the perpetrator, not yet realizing she's hunting the man who's avenging her own mother. The tension in her voice as she questions witnesses is palpable, a mix of professional duty and personal anguish. Clay, meanwhile, is already several steps ahead. Digging deeper into the digital underworld, he uses his considerable skills to trace the flow of stolen funds, peeling back layers of shell corporations and digital obfuscation. His next target is a smug, mid-level executive who thought he was untouchable, sitting in his fancy office. Clay makes a rather dramatic entrance, shattering a glass door with a sharp crack that echoes through the corporate silence. The executive's pampered world is instantly invaded by a man who moves like a predator. The ensuing interrogation isn't subtle. It's a brutal dance of fear and information extraction. Clay doesn't raise his voice, but the quiet intensity of his questions, underscored by the whistle of a nearby HVAC system, is far more terrifying than any shout. The thought is he slams the executive against the desk leaves no doubt about the severity of the situation. He gets his answers, and another piece of the puzzle falls into place. These guys are just the worker bees for a much larger, darker hive. As Clay continues his destructive path, Verona and her superiors start connecting the dots. Her boss, a weary but wise veteran, finally reveals the existence of the beekeepers. They're not just some shadowy government agency. They're an ancient, independent organization, like the ultimate cancel culture for those who think they're above the law. Their purpose? To protect the hive, which is, society as a whole. And when someone threatens the hive, a beekeeper steps in to restore balance. It's like a super secret, extrajudicial pest control service, but with way more explosions and less actual pest control. The revelations come with the gravitas of a hushed secret, the quiet click of a projector slide underscoring the seriousness. We learn that beekeepers are untraceable, unstoppable, and essentially above any known chain of command. They are the ultimate off-book agents. Verona, understandably, is a bit skeptical, but also increasingly terrified by the power of the man she's chasing. The sheer scale of what they're dealing with makes the air in the briefing room feel heavy. Clay's pursuit leads him to a heavily guarded warehouse, a storage facility for legal gains, protected by a squad of highly trained mercenaries. This is where he truly shines. The fight sequence is a symphony of bone-crunching impacts and tactical brutality. The whiz of bullets, the shatter of glass, the grunts of effort, and the groans of pain create a chaotic ballet of destruction. He uses the environment to his advantage, disarming men, turning their weapons against them and moving through them like water, but way more painful. One moment, a mercenary is standing. The next, he's on the floor, courtesy of a precisely aimed kick that lands with a sickening thud. Clay doesn't waste a single movement. Every punch, every block, every throw is executed with perfect, lethal economy. He's not just fighting, he's sending a message. And that message is, you messed with the wrong beekeeper. Buddy. He leaves a trail of unconscious and probably very sore bodies in his wake. Moving ever closer to the big boss, the trail of digital breadcrumbs leads Clay to a sprawling, high-tech data center, the veritable brain of this monstrous scam operation. This place is Fort Knox for nefarious data, guarded by an army of highly paid goons. But highly paid doesn't mean Adam Clay-proof. He busts in with an almost casual force, the slam of a forced door announcing his arrival. Sirens blare, lights flash, and the air fills with the rat-a-tat-tat of automatic gunfire. Clay navigates the labyrinthine corridors, a one-man wrecking crew. He's dodging bullets with supernatural agility, then returning fire with surgical precision. The clatter of empty magazines, the ping of ricocheting rounds, the shouts of guards, it's all part of the symphony of his work. His goal isn't just to take out the guards, it's to erase their entire digital footprint. The hum of the servers is a backdrop to the chaos until he starts systematically taking them offline, each spark and crash of victory. He's like a digital janitor, but instead of mops, he uses high-caliber firearms and his bare hands. He even takes a moment to make a sarcastic comment about their cutting-edge security being no match for a guy who prefers analog methods. Now we finally get to meet the man behind the curtain. Or rather, the smirking face on the big screen, Derek Danforth. He's a young, arrogant tech mogul, dripping with privilege and entitlement, casually flaunting his ill-gotten wealth. Turns out, he's not just any rich kid. He's the son of the President of the United States. Talk about having connections. He's giving some insufferable public speech, all smiles and platitudes, while secretly running this massive global scam operation. His voice, amplified by the stadium's sound system, is almost sickeningly smooth. The contrast between his public persona and his monstrous actions is jarring. This guy clearly believes he's above the law, protected by his family name and political power. He's the ultimate digital kingpin, surrounded by a coterie of equally unscrupulous individuals, all benefiting from the misery of others. He embodies everything the beekeepers are sworn to dismantle. He's basically a walking, talking punch me sign for Adam Clay. Back at the FBI, Verona is in a bind. She's got this unstoppable force, Adam Clay, leaving a trail of destruction, and she's also realizing that the real mastermind, Derek Danforth, is untouchable due to his political connections. The internal conflict is evident in her voice, a strained mix of anger and helplessness as she argues with her superiors. She knows Clay is essentially doing what the system can't or won't, but she's still bound by protocol. The sound of her fist slamming on the desk in frustration cuts through the sterile air of the office. There's a quiet desperation building in her, a realization that the rule of law sometimes needs a little rule of beekeeper to get things done. She's caught between two worlds, one where justice is bureaucratic and slow, and another where it's swift and violently effective. It's a classic ethical dilemma, but with more explosions and fewer philosophy textbooks. She just wants the man who killed her mother to pay, by any means necessary, but she's wearing the badge dot as Clay closes in. He makes a discreet call to his former beekeeper handler, a voice of wisdom from his past. This conversation gives us a deeper insight into the beekeeper's code and their absolute authority. The crackle of the satellite phone transmission emphasizes the remote, isolated nature of their operations. His handler's voice is calm, seasoned, and full of grim understanding, acknowledging the extreme measures Clay is taking. It's clear that once a beekeeper starts a mission, there's no turning back, no bending the rules. The clack of a phone receiver being gently placed back down signals the unshakable resolve. This isn't just a job for Clay. It's a sacred duty. The beekeepers operate on a principle of absolute justice, restoring balance when the official channels fail spectacularly. And Danforth, with his presidential daddy, is a prime example of systemic failure that only a beekeeper can rectify. It makes you wonder how many beekeepers are out there, silently tidying up society's messes. Hopefully, they're not all this intense. Clay's path eventually leads him to Danforth's lavish, sprawling estate, which is, predictably, crawling with heavily armed enforcers. This isn't just security, it's a small private army. Clay breaches the perimeter with almost comical ease, and the ensuing battle is a whirlwind of perfectly executed martial arts and tactical gunplay. The thwack of his staff against a guard's head, the whoosh of a kick, the grunt as a body is expertly thrown. It's all delivered with a balletic brutality. He moves through the opulent rooms, turning designer furniture to lethal projectiles and expensive art into collateral damage. The shatter of a vase, the rip of silk curtains, all add to the cacophony of a very expensive home being systematically dismantled. Each operative he faces is highly skilled, but Clay is on a different level. He's not just a fighter. He's a force of nature, driven by an unwavering sense of justice. It's a masterclass in how to politely, yet violently, crash a party. And yes, he leaves a lot of expensive debris in his wake. Imagine the cleanup bill. Amidst the chaos of Danforth's mansion, Clay faces his toughest challenge yet, a highly skilled female assassin, a formidable opponent who matches him almost blow for blow. Their fight is less a brawl and more a deadly dance, filled with lightning-fast strikes, parries, and bone-jarring impacts. The swish of her blades, the clash as Clay blocks with whatever he can find, the gasp of effort as they exchange blows. Every movement is calculated. Every attack carries lethal intent. The thump of their bodies hitting marble floors, the scrape of their feet as they pivot and dodge, the sharp intake of breath from exertion. It's a raw, visceral struggle. She's quick, agile, and clearly a professional, showcasing a different, more graceful kind of brutality. The tension is palpable, the air thick with anticipation of who will gain the upper hand. It's a true test of Clay's resolve and skill, pushing him to his limits. She's got style, that's for sure, but Clay's got an unwavering mission. Just as Clay is moments away from reaching Danforth, Verona and her FBI team burst onto the scene. The shrieks of sirens and the bark of orders fill the air, creating a frantic cacophony. She finally has him cornered, the man who's been tearing through the criminal underworld and is now about to bring down the son of the president. Verona, badge held high, attempts to appeal to his sense of justice, to convince him to let the legal system handle it. The quiet intensity of Clay's gaze meets her desperate pleas, a powerful clash of ideals. The click of her safety being disengaged is a stark reminder of the stakes. She's caught between her professional duty and her gut feeling that Clay, despite his methods, is seeking a justice that she, through her agency, cannot deliver. It's a tense, silent stalemate, punctuated only by the distant whine of the mansion's damaged security systems. She's basically yelling "stop him," while also thinking maybe he's got a point. Clay isn't deterred. He's found evidence, a smoking gun in the digital world, that points directly to the highest office in the land. It's not just Danforth. His mother, the President of the United States, is neck-deep in this murky mess. The clack of a keyboard as Clay accesses encrypted files, the whir of a portable hard drive, reveals the full, shocking extent of the corruption. This revelation changes everything. It's no longer just about avenging Eloise. It's about exposing a rot that goes to the very core of the system. The stakes skyrocket as the beekeeper's mandate is to protect the hive, even from its supposed protectors. The weight of this discovery settles heavily on Clay. It's a moment of grim understanding, the quiet intensity of his gaze fixed on the damning information. He's not just taking down a scam artist. He's confronting the entire corrupt power structure, a task that makes the previous firebombings feel like warm-up exercises after navigating through the maze of security and agents. Clay finally gets his hands on Derek Danforth. The smug, arrogant facade has completely crumbled, replaced by pure, unadulterated terror. Danforth is pleading, sweating, his voice a frantic, high-pitched whine that perfectly contrasts with Clay's calm, deadly demeanor. The gasp of fear from Danforth, the thump as Clay shoves him against a wall, perfectly conveys the power dynamic. Clay, with a chillingly quiet voice, explains the beekeeper's justice, the rules of the hive, and how Danforth broke every single one of them. There's a certain satisfaction in seeing the tables turn so completely, the predator now the prey. This isn't just a physical confrontation, it's a moral reckoning. Danforth's desperate attempts to bargain or justify himself fall on deaf ears. Clay's gaze is unwavering, a silent promise of the bitter end. He's not here for a debate. He's here for the execution of justice. Beekeeper-style. As Clay corners her son, the president, in a desperate bid to cover her tracks and save her reputation. mobilizes every elite force at her disposal. She's issuing frantic, whispered orders over secure lines, her voice laced with panic. The click of military boots, the whir of sophisticated machinery, the bark of commanders all signify an unprecedented level of official response. She's unleashing the full might of the government against one man, a man who, ironically, is trying to enforce a purer form of justice. The sheer power she wields is immense, but Clay is just relentless. The air hums with the tension of impending confrontation, the ultimate showdown between absolute power and absolute will. It's a last-ditch effort, and she knows it. The sound of helicopters rapidly approaching is a menacing rumble, a clear indication of the heavy firepower being deployed. It's like swatting a fly with a nuclear missile, but the fly is a beekeeper, so maybe it's warranted. With his mission accomplished and Danforth dealt with, Clay, as any good beekeeper does, simply vanishes. He executes a strategic, seemingly impossible escape, slipping through the fingers of every elite unit the president could throw at him. The whir of helicopter blades overhead, the shouts of agents, the bark of K-9 units are all left behind as he disappears into the wilderness. Verona is left standing amidst the wreckage, a silent testament to Clay's unstoppable force and the deep, systemic corruption he exposed. The silence after his departure, almost as impactful, the chaos he caused. She knows that while the official channels will undoubtedly try to cover things up, the hive has been cleaned, at least for now. The whoosh of the wind through the trees as he melts into the shadows is the last thing we hear of him. He's just gone. It's a sobering reminder that some problems require solutions that exist far outside the traditional rule of law, and sometimes those solutions come with a very particular, very painful sting. And so the dust settles, or at least the smoke clears. Verona Parker is left to pick up the pieces, her world irrevocably changed. The events of the past few days will undoubtedly ripple through the highest echelons of power, forcing a reckoning, even if it's a quiet one. It's a stark reminder that true justice sometimes requires a radical, uncompromising hand, willing to act when systems fail. The movie leaves us with a provocative question. In a world where corruption can reach the highest offices, who truly protects the innocent? Perhaps the beekeepers, in their shadowy, brutal way, are a necessary evil, maintaining a delicate balance. It makes you reflect on the silent guardians, the ones who work outside the spotlight, ensuring that the hive, our society, doesn't completely collapse. A powerful sting indeed, but one that perhaps was desperately needed. Keep those bees happy, folks.